This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Brian, and you are tuned in now to Talking Shit TV, Talking Shit Show, with my good buddy over here, Mark.
How you guys doing?
And Mark, we're a part of this little group called the Deluxe Edition Network, and over there on the deluxeeditionnetwork.com, there are two very special podcasts of the month.
Us? Oh, not us. I'm sorry. Barrel Age Flicks and History I'd Like to Fuck.
Guys, head on over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. Check out Barrel Age Flicks, History I'd Like to Fuck, and many more on the Deluxe Edition Network. Mark, you have a very special guest for us tonight. He is a psychic medium?
I think psychic medium. So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll let him explain it.
Bring him on in. Good evening, sir. How are you? Oh, no, I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Let's make sure I didn't mute him. I'll mute him. Make sure that works.
How about now? Nothing?
Uh-oh.
He has no audio.
Did you accidentally turn down the volume? Okay.
He's going to back out and come back in?
I think that's what he said.
Okay.
I'm hoping. Because we had audio. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Guys, give us a second. You know, live shows, we have a little technical difficulties here and there. We'll get it handled. We'll get it figured out. Artie, when you can hear us, just let us know, okay? You still can't?
All right, just go out.
He can't hear you. Yeah, back out and come back in. Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, but there's a difference, Steven.
Hey, you leave my boy Steven alone.
No, I'm not saying nothing bad about him.
We're going to get it. Oh, my God. Did you see this camera action? Holy Jesus. Holy shit, man. Focus. Fucking A, man. What the fuck? All right. So he's going to back out, guys. We're having some audio issues. Hopefully he comes in. He is on mute. Take him off of mute. Hang on 1 second. Unmute him.
You can't unmute them. They chose to mute themselves. You're muted.
You're muted. You muted your mic. Hang on.
I was just getting ready to.
How's this?
Hey,
much better.
There you are.
All right,
there you are.
Cool.
All right.
I am not good at lip reading or any
personal.
of that.
Nothing personal. It's all about me. It's nothing personal. I turn you guys off.
Gotcha.
Oh, we're used to getting something thrown off on us.
That's okay. It's all good. It all works out in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Mr. Hoffman, thank you for showing up and coming out and doing this with us here tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Very cool.
Yeah, a friend of ours who decided to make the Deluxe Edition Network, Casey, he's the one that told us to get a hold of you. I was like, okay, cool. You were on his show 2 years ago.
Yes.
And I just watched that show today, too.
Really?
So I wanted to see what kind of questions that they asked you, so we didn't, try to ask the same questions.
You could ask me, literally, you could ask me anything about anything, about my life, about spirituality, about whatever it is, whatever.
Well, I'm gonna start this off because I have an actual story for you. and I'm using Casey because you did a reading for him while you were doing their video or their. And anyways, you told him that yeah, this was 2 years ago. You told him that in that interview that or the reading, hold on, that in the future he would start something good, and that people would be needing him to start the something good. And right after that, I think about 6 months or so after that, he started the Deluxe Edition Network, and he's been helping people ever since.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. I said, I said I have to bring that up to him, and I told Casey I was using him, and he was like, go ahead, And I thought that was pretty cool.
Nothing like a good testimonial.
Yep.
Don't worry, the check is in the mail.
First off, we're gonna ask a simple question. How are you doing today?
Well, that was a good question. That was an easy question. I studied all day. You threw me like with an easy question. No, it was good. Today was a busy day. Today was a very busy day for me. And, it's just like my life. I just go with the flow. I go from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. And it's like, it's like when you go down the water slide, you just got to go with the curves, go with the flow.
Yep.
And so that was my whole day today. So I did a lot of things. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you laugh. Besides doing this, what I do full time, I also own a window cleaning, power washing business, and it's called Peeping Tom's Window Cleaning.
This is great. That is great.
So when I'm not busy reading people or doing parties or events, I'm out doing estimates for jobs and stuff like that.
That is really cool. So you started the business?
I started the business 41 years ago.
Okay.
And I've been doing readings for people about 34 years ago.
So that was going to be my question. 41 years ago when you started the business, I mean, you didn't just one day say, I think I'm going to learn how to be a psychic. Is it you're a psychic medium, a psychic? How
Yeah.
What's the difference? Is there a difference?
Well, I started this psychic medium thing 34 years ago. My other business I started 41 years ago.
The Peeping Tom's 41.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So for people who don't believe me, it's peeping. You just have to go to peepingtoms.com. But any case, I'm not here to promote that. But as far as my gift, I got a postcard in the mail, believe it or not. I didn't have the gift at all. I wasn't born with the gift. I guess we all have a little bit in us, whatnot, but I never acknowledged it or nothing. I mean, literally nothing. Nor did I try to. And when I went for readings myself, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, people told me, says, all right, you have the gift. You could do like what I do. I said, yeah. Just tell me about my love life and about my finances. That's all I cared about. I didn't want to hear like, oh, you could do this too. It's like I couldn't relate to that at all. And then one day, I walk into my kitchen and there's a bunch of junk mail there. And usually I don't have patience for junk mail. I see it, I toss it. And there's this one card, this one postcard, and it said, how would you like to develop your psychic ability and intuitiveness? Come to the Edgar Casey Foundation in Virginia Beach for this one weekend seminar. So I looked at it and I said, wow, I didn't know you could learn how to do this. I thought either you had it or you didn't. So I asked my wife, who was my wife at the time, I says, this looks interesting. You want to try to do it just for the hell of it? She says, nah, I don't give a crap about that. You can go if you want. I don't want to go. So I went away for that one weekend, and literally that one weekend changed my whole life. And they taught you how to open up your heart and mind to be 100% unconditional to the spiritual world, like just to open up your heart and your feelings and your thoughts to the spiritual world. Whatever messages you get from the other side, just share it with the other person. Because there was about 50 of us in one large room, and they broke us up into little groups, and we were doing little exercises. And most people told me I was pretty accurate, and I was kind of like blown away that I was capable of doing this, as people were doing back to me. And so, you know, I went home and I got myself a deck of cards, spiritual cards. So I started reading for friends and family for a few years just for the fun of it. And again, people were telling me how accurate I was. And to be honest with you, when I was telling them what I saw, I honestly thought I was just blowing smoke up their ass. I wasn't really saying like, oh, I see this and I see that and you're going to do that. I would just tell them. And then afterwards, I just prayed like hell. I was even close. Forget about being right, just close. And again, people were telling me how accurate my predictions were. And I go, wow, there's something to this. So I got to a point in my life, a few years after doing it for free, I got to a point in my life where I said, you know, I need to make some extra money for investment purposes. I needed to make more money than what I was already making. And not that I wasn't doing bad before, but I needed to make more. So I threw an ad. So I said, you know what? I know how to do readings. So I threw an ad in the paper and it said, if I don't pull through, no charge. So most of the people, 90% paid me and the other percent I had to kill. So, and then, but through word of mouth and through a little more advertising, it just took off like a bat out of hell. And, you know, and then, you know, here I am 34 years later, and I probably read for about at least 30,000 people in my career. And that's, you know, that includes like when I do shows or events and you know, been all over different radio stations, been on Fox TV. I read for, you know, producers. I read for, you know, Hollywood stars. I read for, you know, a lot of different people. So, and then I average, you know, then your average Joe. Those are most of my clients, the average Joe, you know, and I try to keep everything within price reasons so that everyone could afford me at some level, you know. So, and I've been, I would say the thing that I love most about doing what I do is changing people's lives for the better. And when I say change their lives, I give people back their power. And I help them look at their life from a healthy perspective. Or when you connect to a loved one who has passed away, and so I'm helping heal people's hearts. You know, other people, no matter what I tell them, they still want what they want. They, you know, nothing shy of what I tell them. They're still waiting for their loved one to come through the front door and say, don't worry, it's just a bad dream. Wow. You know, but people who are, you know, and I'm not worried about skeptics. Skeptics don't bother me at all because I don't try to prove myself to anybody. I just express who I am, you know. And yeah, like I said, it's been an interesting trip, and I met thousands of cool people and so many new friendships, relationships, you know, all because I took this path. And the funny thing is, you know, growing up in school, I really sucked at school. I was very social. I mean, it was a great social breeding ground for me. I was liked by just about everybody in school, and the teachers liked me and stuff, but I just sucked at school. I did scholastically. And I always wanted to become a therapist, but I didn't have the patience or the brain power for college and to do all what it takes. And I always imagined myself, I said, how cool would that be if people just come to my home and I'm just able to listen to people or tell people that, you know, to help them out with their problems or whatever. And so now it's like I never went to college, but yet, you know, because of this gift that came to me and I developed it, you know, now I have therapists who literally come to see me for answers, which is pretty cool. And even though I didn't go to college, I wrote 2 books. And in one of my books, it says I went to the University of Boston and Maryland for 2 years, but that was just to visit my friends.
That's great. That was actually one of my questions. As far as you know, I hear a lot of times like, oh, I'm going to see my therapist, but what people are really telling me is, no, I have a psychic medium that I go see and I get advice. So do you, in turn, do you consider yourself a semi-therapist?
Not semi, I am. I'm like the people call me their psychic therapist.
Psychic therapist.
I just cut through all the shit. I just go right to the course of the problem. It's not always the problem that's the problem in your life. Whatever you're dealing with, it's emotionally how you're dealing with the person or the situation. And once you look at the situation or the person from a healthy perspective, from a really clear perspective, it helps you deal with that relationship or with the problem much better. And the quicker you go to fix the situation with whoever, whatever, the faster the problem is resolved or it goes away. Now, I always say that, if you're with a partner in life or on some level, that if they're not compromisable with you, you're wasting your time with that person. You should always be able to have a healthy conversation with whoever you're with, whether it be business or personal. Mm-hmm. And, if you're sharing your thoughts and your feelings about the matter or the situation, if they're willing to accept what you have to say, you don't always have to agree. You could agree that you disagree, but just to hear the other person out or try to compromise, then you have a healthy relationship. But if it's just one-sided, where it's just about one partner and just what they say or they do, or they don't give a crap about you, or maybe you don't give a crap about them, then you're not in a healthy relationship. You shouldn't be in that situation. You should let it go altogether if you can't work it out or work situations out.
And do you see that a lot with the people that come and see you? Do they?
It's all about boundaries. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about boundaries. People don't know how to set up boundaries for themselves. They really don't. And that's why, I wrote these 2 books. One's called Angels and Answers. And the other one is called Have Your Angels Call My Angels. And so these books are about, your relationship with yourself, about, self-respect. It's about your relationship with your kids, with your loved ones, with your lover, with your business partner, with all kinds of different relationships. And to also have a healthy relationship with your angels and with your loved ones who passed away, and also with the Holy Spirit. I'm not a very religious person, but I 100% believe in God and the angels and the spiritual world. I have a very incredible love and respect for the Holy Spirit. And so, a lot of people, might be challenging me and say, all right, well, what, because of their religious beliefs, they believe like what I do is the devil's work or it's evil work or negative. And you shouldn't be doing that. That's sacrilegious. And my response to them is go to hell. No, I'm not kidding. My response to them is it all depends what your intentions are behind your actions. If you have really good intentions of helping people or doing good behind whatever it is you're doing, then it's the right thing to do. It's not so much as the action. So there are people who do what I do, but they try to manipulate people or take advantage of people or steal their money away or whatever. So so it's wrong. But my intentions, from my perspective and from my other close friends, our intentions are really to help people, to cure people, to heal people, to help people get past their dilemmas. And it's the same thing with every profession. You're going to get every nice guy and bad guy with mechanics and lawyers and, just pick the profession. You're going to have your good and your bad and your ugly and your beautiful. So it's just a matter of what your integrity is what makes something right or wrong. And also within your relationships.
Very cool.
So
Makes a lot of sense.
So that's, how I explain, as far as, what my intent is behind helping people. And people who are skeptics say, that's a bunch of crap, or you could Google that crap. You could Google and find out my information really quick. Blah, 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 blah. So I had this one jackass in a restaurant one time who was sitting right next to me with a group of people. There was 8 of them. I'm going to make a very long story shorter, but they found out, the girl next to me who was sitting at the other table said, "What do you do for a living?" And I said, "I'm a psychic and I'm a medium." And so the guy at the end of the table, that's a bunch of crap. They could just Google it and blah, 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 blah. You know, I never met these people from Shanghai. So I said, all right, well, whatever you say, you know, I've only been doing it for, at that point, like 25 years or more. He says, you think you could read me? You know, really cocky prick. You think you could read me? I said, yeah, come over here. I'll give you a quick read. So he stands in front of me. I said, come over here. He stands in front of me. And I said, let me have your keys or your jewelry or something so I could hold on to your energy. So he gives me his keys and I'm holding on to it. I said, you're looking for a very expensive piece of jewelry right now. I said, you misplaced a piece of jewelry and you're going frantic looking for it. And he goes, yeah. He goes, my mother's engagement ring is a diamond ring. He said it was beautiful. I had it on the bathroom sill in my house and it's gone. And I know I put it there. I said, do you have workers in your house, don't you? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, one of them stole it.
Oh, wow.
So he goes like this. He goes, how did you know that? He goes, how did you know that? I was just looking for it tonight. I said, it was easy. I just Googled your information.
with the keys in my hand.
With the keys in my hand. So he says, can you do it again? I said, yeah. So I said to him, I said, you're going to be switching insurance companies. I see you with papers in your hands and like you're debating whether to switch insurance companies. I'm not sure if it's health or car insurance or something. He goes, my boss just gave me a new set of papers yesterday. And he said, either you could stick with the old policy or go with the new policy. He said he just handed those papers in my hand yesterday as far as which insurance policy to go with. I said, go with the new one or you're going to do better with it. He goes, how did you know that? I said, I told you, I Googled the information.
That's fantastic.
You know, so it's like I don't try to impress or improve. I don't try to prove myself to anybody. I just tell people my gut feelings, you know?
Yeah. We got a question here from You Soldier. You Soldier is one of our viewers and said his mom reads tarot cards, practices Hinduism, is Roman Catholicism, and all at the same time is a total psychopath. So he's always had a tough time believing. What would you say to this young man or woman?
Well, everybody has their own perspective on how they connect to people or how they connect to the spirit. And so with you said his mother, right?
Yeah.
His mother reads tarot cards and practices Hinduism.
All right. So if that's her belief, then so be it. You know, whether you believe in it or not, it still exists, whether you believe it or not. It's like saying, I don't believe in God. Just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean God doesn't exist. You know, it's just usually people who don't believe in God or angels, it's only because they're very angry with their life. Either they lost a loved one at an early age, or they had an emotionally abusive relationship growing up, or they lost somebody who they loved, like I said, at an early age, or all their finances or their health went to crap, you know? So when people are very angry and upset about their life, and they go, well, if there's really a God, then why are all these starving children? And why does all this crap happen? And why is this happening to me? And blah, 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 blah. But you also have to remember, he gave everybody free will. And he never stopped you or anyone else from lying, stealing, or cheating in your life or expressing yourself. God never did that. And you also have to remember that, you know, while Jesus was being beaten and nailed to the cross, God didn't stop that either. And supposedly he's the Son of God. So he didn't stop that either. So, and that's because he gave everyone free will, you know? So God gave the gift. Not only does he love everyone unconditionally, he also gave free will. So how you choose to allow yourself to be affected by other people, you know, you don't have to be on everyone else's emotional bullshit stage. You know, you could just observe them and just say, you know what, that's who they are. I don't like the way they are, or I don't agree with how they are, but that's who they are. So it's not about, I feel like he has a problem accepting his mother for who who she is. But if you accepted her just for who she is and let go of your expectations, then you could adjust yourself on how you choose to deal with her. But you do not have to be on her emotional bullshit state. Instead, you could just be in her company or look at her and observe her. And rather than looking at her with anger, you could look at her with compassion, because she might be stuck in her world and the way she thinks and the way she feels. There's a reason why people are the way they are. But if she's happy with how she is or who she is, then be happy for her. Just because you can't appreciate it, if they're happy, then how can you knock anybody for being happy? I mean, so long as they're not doing physical harm to someone else. I mean, that's a sick bastard if you find pleasure in hurting other people. And unfortunately, there are people like that. But, that's a whole different situation in itself. But I'm just talking about relationships. So, I mean, there are people who you get along with really, really well. Like, I've dated lots of girls in my life, and, when I say dated, I don't necessarily mean boyfriend, girlfriend, although I've had girlfriends, and I've been married a few times, but, but not everybody who I hang with would I want to marry or would I want to be engaged to. I appreciate them for who they are, but not as my partner in life. I enjoy hanging out with them or fooling around with them or whatever. I enjoy that aspect. But just because you enjoy someone's company doesn't mean that you have to make them your significant other. A lot of times that's why you have acquaintances. They're really fun to hang out with, but if you hung out with them all the time, they would probably drive you freaking crazy. So friends you could pick. And a lot of times friends can be your family. It's considered family. But fortunately and unfortunately, family you're born into. You know?
You said you've been married a couple of times. The last time you got married, how long have you been married since?
Well, I'm not married now.
Okay.
But my first marriage, I was married to her for 10 years. My second marriage, I was married to her for 10 years. And my third marriage, big mistake, was married 4.5 years.
So how do you figure big mistake? I mean, there's a reason that everything happens. That's what I feel, right? That's how I feel. I feel like there's the way that the world works. It's just goofy because everything happens for a reason. So
exactly.
You did 10 years of solitary confinement with one woman, decided to do 10 years of solitary confinement with another, and then 4 and got let out on good behavior.
Hey, there you go. So in between my second and third marriage is when I went experimenting and was with a bunch of different women. I was just with my first wife, only my first wife. I was not with any other girl except her from the time I was, 20 all the way up until 34. And then I met my second wife. Well, I was just dating her at the time. And then I was only with her all the way up until the age of 47. And then at the age from after 47, after we divorced, that's when I started dating around a lot. And then a few years after that, I met my third wife. And I didn't know she was going to be my wife, but I met my third wife in a reading. And and I married her for all the wrong reasons. So definitely married her for the wrong reasons. But I got to tell you a cute story that I really think you're going to laugh at. I think you're going to appreciate. So my third wife, her name was Charity. And I thought that was a really cool name for a girl, Charity. I said, I got to date this girl, not thinking I'm going to marry her. But I said, I got to date this girl with a name like Charity. So anyway, at the time on our wedding day, when we got married, I gave a little speech. And I said to everybody, I said, if you could find it to be a little more kinder in your heart and within your envelopes, I said, I promise you it's all going to charity.
Yes.
And that
all the money.
That name and don't get me wrong, it sort of sounds like a stripper name.
Whoa.
No, that's Cassidy.
Oh.
you talked earlier, you touched earlier just briefly on talk shows and stuff like that, TV programs and stuff like that. Any TV programs that we could have caught you on, Maury? You know, You Are Not the Father.
When I was on Fox TV, I was on the Q show out of Philadelphia. Fox TV. It was called the Q show. They're not on the air now. He's not on the air. Okay. Yeah, that was really cool. You know, I read for one of the, actually I read for two of the Sopranos. I read for Lucille Ball's granddaughter. And I mean, and the list goes on and on. So, but okay. Yeah. So anyway, but it's not about, you know, the glitz and the glamour doing what I do. It's all about how many people I help, you know, and I've given out well over 100 winning lottery numbers and stuff. But
I need those.
But that's while it's in session. When people ask me for it, I can't give it. But when I'm in that spiritual zone and I get numbers just naturally handed to me, I share it with the people, and then they end up usually winning. Like pick 3s and pick 4s. I haven't given out pick 6s or stuff like that. But it was real. I got to tell you a funny story that happened to me. So the very first time I was ever on FM radio, I was only supposed to be on that station one time, and they ended up having me on for 12 years every week. And so the very first time I was on the air, I was a little nervous. I was more excited than nervous, but I was a little nervous. And we're going for a commercial break. And so the producer, DJ, said to me, he says, "All right, you ready?" He says, "You ready to go on?" And I said, "Yeah." And I'm having a little conversation with God. I said, "God, I don't know what to say." I said, "You know, this is the first time I'm ever on the air amongst thousands and thousands of people." And so he put me on the spot and he said, "So, do you have any numbers for us?" And he was a big time skeptic himself, Joe Kelly. He was a very big time skeptic. And so, like I said, he had me on for 12 years. So I could tell you I changed him.
Wow.
So he says, "Do you have any numbers for us?" I go, "Yeah, that's easy. 107.3. And that was the station number, 107.3. So I said, "He asked me, you have any numbers?" I said, "Yeah, that's easy. 107.3. So anyway, the next day he texted me and he goes, "Art, I don't know if you were just kidding or you were serious." He says, "But I played those numbers last night and you only missed by one number."
Wow.
So
we got a question here for you. This one is from Steven Jarvis and Friends podcast.
This is why I was laughing, because he asked to see if he could ask a question. I said, "Go ahead." And he said he wants to know who's going to win first, their first Super Bowl, Vikings or Lions.
Oh, you want to know something? When it comes to sports, I suck. I really do.
Pick the other team.
Yeah, that's right. If I'm saying a team publicly, 100% go the opposite. So if I'm telling you Detroit, you definitely want to go Minnesota.
Okay, well, I'm not asking that one because I need my Lions to actually win a Super Bowl.
Oh, that's funny. How do maybe you can break this down for us and kind of explain it to our audience and myself personally. How do our astrologic signs? How does that work for us?
What do you mean? I don't know what you.
So as far as our astrology, like our astrologic signs, like I'm a Gemini, and like I hear all the time on the radio, like they'll play the thing on 97.9 and just say, "Hey Gemini, this month you need to do this, that, and this." Why? Is there a reason that this person is trying to reach out to me and say, "Hey, do this, this, and this," because they're reading my astrology sign?
Well, put it this way. There's a lot of different factors with astrology. Now, I'm not an astrologist. I have a general gist of understanding about it. But, people who really, really know their stuff about astrology, that when you give them your exact date of birth and when you tell them the time you were born and where you were born, that your chart could read differently than someone else who is a Gemini, because they have different rising sun or a different moon when they were born. Like time of day is very important too. There's a lot of different factors, but there is a general feel for certain, for astrology signs. So that when they say, all right, all you Cancerians, if I were you, I wouldn't do this, this, and that, but tomorrow push ahead. Or they'll say, all right, all you Geminis, don't trust everything that you hear that's being said to you soon, because there's ways of bullshit that's coming your way, and you have to be able to decipher what's true and what's not true. But don't believe in everything that's being told you. Sometimes you have to wait until you push the envelope, until you start doing things. Now, mind you, I'm just talking at the top of my head right now,
Sure.
as an example, and it could be about Aquarius or whatever. But I wouldn't live an astrologist that say, all right, for all you Geminis now, for all you Cancers now, for all you Aquarius now. Does a lot of it come true? It does. It definitely does. I believe in astrology. But if you really want to, and a lot of it makes sense too. So if you were to look at your astrology chart sign every single day in the newspaper or the magazine or wherever, you'll be able to possibly connect to a lot of what's going on, because there's a general gist of that sign at this time of year of what's happening. Does it mean it's a blueprint? No. But the general feel for that sign for this time of year, that's what you could expect on the most part. But it doesn't mean it's going to be for everybody, and you could relate to it in your way, where there could be another Gemini who could take the same exact words and say, yeah, I can relate to it in this way, So it's not rock solid blueprint, unless if it's a specific astrology chart for you, then yes, I could say you could pretty much so go by that, because an astrology is a map of your life. Like a good part of your life is already mapped out in a sense, but the quality of your life is strictly determined by your choices on how you choose to deal with whatever's handed to you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'll give you an example of that. So I had a gentleman from New York. I forgot his name, an Indian fella. He was the most amazing astrologer that I've ever met in my life. And he had broken English. It was hard to listen to him, but I got to tell you, he was amazing. And he was telling me the details of my aspects of my life with my relationship with my mom and my dad. And then as he's looking at my personal chart, he goes, I see you have 2 older siblings of the same sex. And I go, yeah, I do. I have 2 older brothers. And he goes, and I see you were married right around the age of, in your early 20s, like 23-ish, give or take. And I said, yeah, I was married at the age of 24. And he goes, and after you fell in love with her, you had a child. I said, yes. He goes, but you didn't have any more children after your first child. I go, that's correct. And then about 10 years later, he goes, you fell in love again. And I said, I did. And you got married for the second time. And I started laughing. I go, yeah, I did. And he goes, and that one didn't last. And I go, yeah. He goes, and then after 10 years, you fell in love again. He goes, you went out with a few other women, and then you fell in love again. And you got married again for the third time. I said, yeah. And he goes, and that one didn't last, and it didn't last as long. I go, that's true. Like, he knew blueprint. It was unbelievable, just based on him looking at my charts.
Wow.
And then he said, but the third one, he goes, I felt like you try to have more kids, but it never happened. I go, that's true. He goes, you were only meant to have one child in this lifetime. He goes, that was according to your path. He goes, you won't have another child in this lifetime. You weren't meant to have it. And it's funny because my third wife, she got pregnant 3 times and lost it all 3 times.
Holy cow.
But again, to me, it was a blessing, because that would have been hell had I have had a child with her.
After being married for 4 years, I think that would have probably not been so great. I mean,
somehow, some way, I would have made it work, but I would have been miserable. I always said if I was to have a second child, whoever I was with, I wouldn't want to deal with 2 ex-wives and having to deal with child support with 2.
Oh my God, yeah.
That would be too overwhelming for me. I wouldn't want to do that. So, but
it's going to cost a
protected
lot
me.
of money. It's going to cost a lot of money.
Right. And that's why I say there is a God, because he was protecting my ass.
That's right. That's right. Let me see here. What do you like to do in your spare time when you're not doing readings and when you're not pressure washing and what is it, peeping Toms?
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm not working, in other words, when I'm not working.
Yeah.
I love to go to the beach. I'm a big sports fan. I love going to the golf range. I don't like going on the golf course, but I like the fact that I can whack the ball and just bend over and pick up another ball and whack it again. But I love all sports. I just went to the Boston Bruin Flyers game where Boston broke the record for the most wins in NHL history. So that was pretty cool. And I'm a Boston fan when it comes to hockey. I have different teams for different sports, football, baseball, and basketball, but like I said, I've always played sports growing up, and I have 2 competitive brothers who are the same. So, and they're older than me. So I always had to step up my game to be close to being as good as they are.
Very
But
cool.
that's what, and I love music. My favorite thing to do in the whole wide world besides sex is when I go to a restaurant and listen to live music and having a drink and eating. I love eating and drinking at a restaurant, listening to live music. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Did you read this? Did you read this paper before? Like, are you able to see this paper that I have in front of me?
No.
Like, I swear to God, I swear I'm not even kidding you right now. It says, let me see, where is it at? Oh my God. Oh, what do you like to do when you go out to restaurants? Do you have a favorite meal or a favorite restaurant? Oh my God, dude.
So, well, the thing is, my favorite meal is a skirt steak. I love skirt steak. And my favorite dessert is either warm brownie or a big warm cookie with vanilla ice cream. And so I said on my show, because I have a Facebook Live show that I do on Sunday nights. It's called Angels and Answers. Artie Hoffman's Angels and Answers every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I read people for free for an hour. And so I said to my audience, I said, you know what? I said, when it comes to sex, I says, I'm usually like a conservative guy. I'm not way out there. I said, but for all of you who might be an exhibitionist, I said, the other night, I was an exhibitionist. I said, I had sex in public. I said, I went to a restaurant with one of my female friends, and there was this big warm brownie with vanilla ice cream. And I looked at it, and it said, bite me. And and I did, and there was lots of moaning and groaning going on. And people were watching, and I didn't care. I said, so it was as good as having sex in public. I'll tell you, it was great.
That's funny. That is funny. All right.
But that's my favorite dessert in the whole world is a hot, warm brownie or hot apple pie with vanilla ice cream.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, you could turn that into a milkshake and I'm in. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Warm apple pie and then some
yeah.
ice cream, blend it all up. Let's go.
I agree.
love vanilla shakes. I love vanilla shakes. I love Wendy's chocolate Frosties. That's to die for. It's like a perfect consistency of chocolate. It's like perfect.
Yep.
But I would probably say I'm going to share with you one of my favorite. I'll share with you a couple of readings that I've done. That was pretty amazing. And I'm not saying this to brag. It's just an amazing story, though. But I'll tell you my favorite reading of all. And like I said, I've read for over 30,000 people. So there was this fellow who came into my play. Well, he called me up one day, and he sounded really upset and really depressed. And he said to me, he goes, Artie, he goes, I need to see you. He goes, I really need to see you. He goes, hopefully you could see me sooner than later. And I could hear in his voice how broken up he was and how sad he was. And I said, sure. I says, come tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow at 1:00. So he comes into my place at 1:00, and, you know, his energy was like, you know, so. And we sat down, and I started to express to him. Now, I don't know why I say what I say when I do readings. It's not like I pre-program anything I say before I do a reading or before I do shows or on your show. I don't know what I'm going to talk about until the moment happens. So I started to explain to him the importance of his life, the significance of his life. And I explained to him how he could be a happier person. And then I explained to him a lot about the meaning of life itself and the way God operates and the way the angels operate. And why I was talking to him like this, I don't know. I didn't know at the time why I was talking to him like this. But a lot of what I said to him made a lot of sense, and his whole demeanor changed and his feelings changed, and he became a much brighter person because I gave him a much healthier perspective about his life and life itself, and trying to understand God and the angels a little better. And not that I became evangelistic on him or a Jesus Christ person. I'm a Jewish fella. So after I got finished speaking with him, he said, Artie, I feel so much better. And I was only with him for an hour or so. And he gave me a big hug. He goes, dude, he goes, you saved my life. I go, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I said, I'm glad I could help you out. I'm glad, you know, it's okay. He goes, no, you literally saved my life. He goes, I wrote myself a suicide letter. He says, I wrote a suicide letter and I was going to kill myself tomorrow. He goes, I don't want to kill myself anymore.
Wow.
Because of what you said and how you explained things to me. He goes, it all made perfectly good sense. And he goes, it's great. He says, you saved my life. So that,
Wow.
so that was my favorite reading of all time. I had another lady come to my place, and she was covered, her whole body was covered in tattoos from her neck all the way down her entire body. Like every square inch was covered in tattoos. And so she said to me, she goes, she comes into my place. She goes, Art, I've been thinking about you every single day for the last 2 years. All right. I'm flattered, not attracted, but I'm flattered. And I said, okay. I said, so why were you thinking about me for every day for 2 years, you know? So I wish some of my other girlfriends would feel the same way. So she said to me, you read for me here 2 years ago, and we were sitting at that table, your kitchen table, and you held my hand. And as soon as you held my hand, you started singing the song, Highway to Hell. I'm going to Highway to Hell by AC/DC. And you looked at me and you said to me, you're doing something you should not be doing right now. And if you keep on doing it, you're going to get caught and thrown in jail. So, and you warned me, if I were you, I would stop doing something you should not be doing. It's not in your favor. It's going to end up hurting you. And she goes, 2 weeks later, I got caught at doing something I should not have been doing. And I got thrown in jail for 2 years. And you warned me ahead of time to stop doing it before something happens to me. And every day I woke up in the jail thinking, why didn't I listen to Artie? Why didn't I listen to Artie? And
Wow.
the thing is, you know, your ego and your soul is always having a battle with itself. Your ego wants what it wants, but your soul, your gut feeling is saying, but it doesn't feel right. I'm not happy, or don't do this. But your ego is saying, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Don't worry about it. You want it. You know you want it. Let's do it. Whether it be making that bet or maybe going out with that person you shouldn't be going out with, or taking time off that you shouldn't, or doing this or doing that, whatever it is. Your ego's convincing you like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're all good. We're all good. It'll be okay. Don't rock the boat. You don't want to rock the boat. But inside your soul's screaming, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Don't do it. Don't do it. But your ego is stronger than your soul. But you need to pay attention to your gut feelings, and you'll be guided in the right direction.
Wow.
So, you know, it's challenging. Like you already know, a lot of people who come to me for readings, believe it or not, their souls, their subconscious is communicating to my thoughts. And I'm just reiterating something that they already know on a deep level. But because their ego fogs up their way of thinking so much, they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. So they ask people like myself, hey, Artie, what do you see for me? Now, I can't read for myself because sometimes my head's up my ass and I can't see. Because I don't know if it's coming through spiritually, the messages, or is this my ego talking to me? So I ask a few of my other psychic friends, and I asked, so to see if all the stories connect,
Wow.
So, so I can't read for myself, but I can read for other people.
Very cool. Artie, what is your opinion on travelers and clairvoyance? That is from Heather. Heather'd like to know.
What do you mean, travelers? I don't know what you mean. What's my view on travelers?
I believe that they're talking about dream travelers.
Oh, astro traveling and stuff like that. I think it's really cool, actually. There time travel 100% exists. You could definitely, your soul could 100% travel out of your body and go to a different place here on Earth or to a different planet if you wanted to, if you learned how to develop your mind to be able to do that. But when you do it, you better know exactly what you're doing and say your prayers and look for forms of protection, because you want to protect your soul so that you can get back into your body. There has to be like, and how it was explained to me, it's almost like when you want to astro travel, you want to have like that umbilical cord within your belly button. And when you start to travel, you want to hold on to that umbilical cord, but yet you want it to stay attached to your body. So when you're spiritually traveling, that when you want to come back, that by holding onto the spiritual cord, you can get right back into your body. But it's like doing a Ouija board. If you don't know how to play a Ouija board could really screw up your life big time. And Hasbro, or whoever put it out, Mattel or Hasbro, you're playing with danger when you're playing with Ouija boards if you don't know what you're doing. If you do know what you're doing, then you're safe. But you always have to say goodbye whenever you're using a Ouija board, because if you don't, then even the evil spirits, it's a porthole to allow all spirits to come in. It could be good spirits and it could be bad spirits, and they could and the bad spirits could really screw up your life big time. And I know a young friend of mine, his life is being tortured because him and his sister played around with Ouija boards in their house, and they never said goodbye, and the bad spirits never left. And now he has, like, it's equivalent to poltergeist, what's going on in his house.
Whoa.
I mean, it's really, really that bad.
Stay away from the TV.
So,
Wow.
So like I said, because he was screwing around with a Ouija board, he didn't know what he was doing, and now they don't want to leave. For him to get the poltergeist out of his house, he would need a team of exorcisms who know what they're doing to get the evil spirits out of his house. And it's a big ass house too, but weird shit keeps on happening in his place. And
Wow.
I'd be selling and leaving.
and I got news for you. It happens an awful lot. And he even, what is it? One of the what's those shows with the spirit shows, investigation.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, he's been in his house. My friend, has been on a segment of their show. And let me tell you something, there was some really wild stuff. He was even on the Howard Stern show. He got so many hits. So, and again, he had on video. I would tell you his site, but I forgot his last name. It's an Italian name. It's like I don't know. It's a weird name. But in any case, he showed me a video, and a vacuum cleaner came flying. He was the only one in the house. He has a 2-floor. A vacuum cleaner came flying down the stairs by itself. It was just thrown right down the stairs, the vacuum cleaner.
So that's like the ghost hunter shows, and one of our questions that just popped up was, what do you think about the ghost hunter shows? What are your thoughts on the ghost hunter shows?
To me personally, I know a lot of people, it's a big hit. Otherwise, if it wasn't, if there weren't a lot of people watching it or intrigued by it, it wouldn't be a show,
Sure.
You have to have enough people. So, but for me personally, from my perspective, I'm not a big fan of it. So it's just like, it's like me watching another person, seeing somebody do a reading or seeing somebody connect to a loved one. It's like, I do that. So to me, it's like not a big deal. It's like if you're a baseball player, you want to be on the field playing. You don't want to just be in the stands. I mean, unless if it's your kid or whatnot, that's different. But, so when I see, and I'm not jealous at all, don't get me wrong. It's like, I don't, but honestly, just to listen, oh, I heard a spirit, or, oh, that moved, or, oh, that's, it happens every day, thousands of times a day. It's just a matter of who catches it on camera or whatnot. I mean, the first time it ever happened to me, I was scared shitless, but now I'm so used to it. It's like not a big deal. But I know I have two spirits who live in my house. One's a young girl and one is a middle-aged gentleman. Well, not middle-aged. He's like in his 30s and all. So, but they're nice. Both spirits in my place are very nice. But they screw with me a lot. They take my things and they hide it. And then I go looking for it. I've checked the place out a few times. It wasn't there. And then after the fifth or sixth time, it's sitting right on top, whatever it is I'm looking for. And it pissed me off.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, this is a new house. Hopefully we don't have any spirits coming around here. Mark, I'm pretty sure you probably got some spirits over there at your place.
They're probably underneath the house, all dug in and everything.
Hey, listen, if you want to protect your house, just keep on playing the song by Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky.
The Spirit in the Sky. Spirit in the Sky. You said you like music.
Oh, I love music.
The poster behind you, does that represent, is that a photo album cover to something?
You would think. Yeah, it looks like a Pink Floyd.
It totally looked like a Pink Floyd album cover. So I had to ask.
Yeah, it's very cool. Actually, one of my very dear friends from Canada, a female friend of mine, sent that to me. And so actually it was just a cloth. She just sent it as a cloth. This is a cloth right here, but I loved it so much. I went to one of my other friends who owns a frame shop. And so he framed it for me and he put wood frames and he like stretched it. So yeah, I made it into a picture.
It absolutely 100% catches the eye.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm replacing it with a Beatles picture.
Which one?
I bought a Beatles picture. No, it's a unique painting. Do you like the Beatles?
I do like the Beatles.
Okay. All right. You're going to have to excuse me for a moment because the painting that cost me thousands of dollars, literally, I just got in today. It just came in today, and I'm going to show it to you. So give me a moment, okay? Because it's the most unique Beatles picture you'll ever see.
So it's not an Abbey Road painting.
It's nothing of their albums, but hold on, because I'm very, very proud of this painting.
I'm in.
Hold on a second. You're going to really, really love this one.
Who is Sylvia Brown? Is that lady that's got that TV show on?
She's a reader. She used to come on I can't
Sylvia
remember.
Brown passed away.
Oh, she did.
She did. Yeah, she passed away. She was like the pioneer of psychics at the time. And
What was she the blonde? Was she the blonde lady that had a TV show?
No,
So
she had brown hair.
So tell me what you think of this picture, okay? Hold on.
I'm in. You got to get closer.
A little bit closer.
A little closer.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
That is fantastic.
Wonder what drugs they were on when they made it.
I think that is a really, really good painting.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
That is really good.
Yeah, Montel. That's what I was thinking.
Now, can you see the Beatles to the left in the branches?
Yes.
Paul, Ringo, and John?
Yes.
Paul, Ringo, and George?
Yeah, I can see them.
So right below Paul, there's a little face. There's a little face in the branch. Can you see the little face in the branch?
I cannot.
I see something, but
Oh yeah, I see it.
That was the first drummer before Ringo.
Oh really?
Yeah. So when I tell you this picture was just blew me out of the water.
What a great paint! Like somebody just painted that just recently. Is that?
Yeah. And so that painting, when it was finished, painted, the moment he finished painted, he sold that for $83,000.
Holy cow! You paid $83,000 for that?
No, that's not an original. That's a print.
Okay, but that was still thousands of dollars for the print.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
But with the frame and the glass, and yeah, I just fell in love with it because I'm a Beatles fan.
Yeah, what a great picture. That is a fantastic painting.
So, yeah, it had me at hello. I couldn't stop looking at it. I saw it in Florida, and I was in an exclusive place in Florida, a very beautiful artwork. I mean, it was just one gorgeous piece after another. So I really enjoyed it, and I left the place, had a bite to eat, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went back there and I bought it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Now this is a question that I'd like to have answered. Have you ever had any visions on local crimes or disappearance or contacted law enforcement?
Oh yeah. People have reached out to me to help them.
How often are you correct on the disappearances?
What do you mean correct?
Well, not correct, I shouldn't say. How often are they found from yours?
Well, I've worked only on a few of them, but my visions were very accurate. And like the information that I gave to the people of whoever they were looking for, I was pretty darn accurate with, the location, the personality of the person who killed them, what they looked like. I had a police force one time reopen up a case based on the information that I gave them. It's very rewarding. Let's just say that. I don't do it a lot. I'm going to admit I don't do it a lot. But yeah, I do what I do. I'm more of an entertainer at doing what I do. I could teach this, but I don't want to be regarded as a teacher. I could teach this. I have taught this, but you need to be consistent if you're going to be a teacher with your classes and being, you have to be consistent. I like to do individual readings. I like to do Artie parties. People hire me to go to their homes and I read for their friends and family. And I tell people when I do private sessions or do parties, I said, you could record your session. You're allowed to record your session. That's fine. Because anything I say a lot of things to people. You might not understand it today. But sometimes it's not until days, weeks, or many months later, or even years later, that 2 and 2 equal up. But, or there are times where I told people information, they couldn't relate to what I said, but yet their relatives understood exactly what I was saying. And they verified a lot of what I said. So, like I said, when I tell people things and some people might say, no, I said, well, I'm just telling you my gut feelings, but this is what I'm getting. So, but I believe what I say, I'm not like somebody who just, who says stuff just to say stuff. So but I would probably say that 95% of my clients are women. That's why I love my job so much.
They come over in a bikini, they get a discount, right?
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you charge for a reading? That's a great question, Heather.
No, I don't give prices over the air.
Okay.
I don't give prices, no disrespect. If anybody wants a reading, let's just say you pay me for my value. I do base it on my time. I'm not out of the ballpark. Put it this way. It's not like I'm thousands of dollars. I'm nothing like that, you know. Sylvia Brown, I put it this way. I feel like she allowed greed to get the best of her because Sylvia Brown was charging $800 for 20 minutes.
Wow, that's a
and
lot
she
of money.
and she wasn't even accurate. And I know 10 people who got read by her, and all 10 people said the exact same thing about her. For the first 10 minutes, she would just talk gibberish about whatever. And then the next 10 minutes, she would give a reading where it was so general, it made no sense.
It could have hit anybody's. It could have hit anybody in the audience and been like,
yeah, I mean, she wasn't even close. She wasn't even.
Yeah.
But when she first started and all, I would say she was probably incredibly accurate. But I feel like, the media got the best of her. The expectations with the media and the money, and then it fell into depression, and then she became an alcoholic. And but she towards the end she started. I feel, I could be wrong, but I feel like she manipulated the public with all the wrong reasons. And how she got on Montel blows me away because I don't get that at all. So.
They probably just picked her out of the phone book and said, "Okay, let's get her."
Yeah. No. Well, she was the like I said, she was the cavalier who brought the awareness of psychics and stuff a lot. Not that she was the first; she wasn't, but making it more public. And she wrote a lot of books too on it and stuff. But God rest her soul. God bless her. I wish her well.
Have you ever seen anybody do a reading and go, "That is absolute trash"?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
We're not going to talk anybody's name off here, are we? We're not. Okay. Anybody that I should not go and see or tell any of my friends not to go? Is there anybody I should look out for?
Hold it. I'll answer that question.
And not saying any names, but
No, I will tell you this. Anybody who has the purple sign in their window, you don't
stay away from them.
Stay away from them. Anybody who says, "I have a $5 and a $10 special," stay away from them. Those are the people who will 9 times out of 10, no, probably 99 out of 100 times, will tell you somebody put a curse on you and you need me $2,000, $3,000 later. You need me to help you release the curse that somebody put a curse on you. Now, the reason why people are going to see people like that is because they're depressed because of their love life or their finances or their kids. Oh, someone put a curse on you. That's why this happened. So even the dark side could be accurate with some information. But the bottom line is when they see somebody, and that's what I said, it's what your intentions are. Anybody who does not allow you to record the session, I wouldn't trust them. Anybody who tries to predict or who predicts the date of your death, I would walk out. That's very cruel.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Artie. I didn't mean to laugh about that. Anything. It's just a question that was, or somebody put on here. Somebody definitely cursed Brian's hairline.
I love my 5 head. Doesn't matter to me. I got rid of it for a reason.
There you go.
So purple signs.
Stay away from the purple signs and anyone who says. Stay away from anyone who says somebody put a curse on you. Just walk out right then and there. Stay away from anybody who offers $5 and $10 special readings. No, that's just a draw to bring you in. And then you end up spending a lot more money because they know you're vulnerable.
If I was to do a reading with you, would you know, like, hey, Brian intends on doing a reading with me and this is what we're going to talk about?
I don't pre-think anything. Okay. It's like when somebody wants a reading with me, I just share whatever information. Hold on a second. Were you going to a comedy club? Were you thinking about going to a comedy club?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, you're going to. Someone's going to ask you something with a comedy club. Definitely.
Okay.
You know, yeah, there's something about a comedy club coming up with you, where I wouldn't say to be on stage, but I would say that you're going to be seeing comedians perform. I could almost bet the world that you're going to have the strong opportunity that someone's going to bring that up to you.
Okay.
And I also feel like there's somebody close to you watching over you, who passed away from a massive heart attack also with one of you.
Mark, was that your grandpa?
No, he didn't have a heart attack. He just he had
There
well,
was an aneurysm. There was an aneurysm with the heart, and this is why the person passed away. And that's okay. You'll understand it later.
yeah, I know who that is.
You know.
You do? Mark knows who that is. Okay. Wow.
And there's something about eggs with this person. Were they big with eggs or
No,
or did,
we used to hatch eggs for her.
oh, okay. So she's mentioning about the eggs and she's appreciating that. She's appreciating about the eggs. And she says you're a good egg yourself.
No,
Is that Matt's mom?
no, that'd be Brit.
That's Britt?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She had her heart gave out. Well, she hit her head on the back of a stair, or she hit her head, but she was having heart problems at the time too.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah, there was something with an aneurysm, something exploded.
Wow.
But and also someone that's around you guys.
Uh-oh.
Said, "Screw you! I'm not talking no more."
What happened?
Somebody enjoyed playing the game of chess or checkers.
Nope, that's not me.
They
Is
were
that
very.
you?
I'm seeing a checkerboard. It's either backgammon, checkers, or chess.
Backgammon?
It's either like backgammon, checkers, or chess.
Okay.
That somebody enjoyed, one of your relatives. And I'm seeing a connection with the number 17, the 17th. It was either their birth date or when they passed. There's something significant with the number 17 in this person. And they also enjoyed doing crossword puzzles. You'll understand it later. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, who is it? Who would it be?
Yeah.
No, I was wondering if my mom was gonna reach out to you or anything like that, because that was the one person I didn't get to really say anything to. I didn't really get to say my goodbyes to her, but that, hey, I'm sure that eventually I will.
What is it with Kool-Aid? Believe it or not, I'm seeing Kool-Aid. I'm seeing a big picture of Kool-Aid, the character with Kool-Aid. Who is
That's
somebody?
Mark. Mark, is that you? Is it really?
Yep, that would be we used to call, or they used to call my wife's nephew.
Yeah. How come you didn't speak up?
Because I was tongue-tied right there.
Okay.
I mean, I wondered that myself because, with my dad and stuff, I didn't know my dad. I mean, he died when I was 13, but I never got the chance to talk to him or anything.
Well, whenever you speak out loud to your loved ones who crossed over, they hear you when you talk to them. They hear you every time when you talk to them. And there was somebody who had a lot of tattoos. I feel like, did one of you have a tattoo on behalf of somebody who passed away?
My wife and my daughter both have a tattoo of somebody that passed away. Mark, do you have a tattoo of someone that passed away? Your wife? No,
no, my wife does. I don't. I just got the cancer ribbon.
Okay, and that's on behalf of
Well,
somebody.
that had cancer at the time. They didn't pass from it.
No, but you still have a tattoo on their behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in memory of them. That was like yeah, it was an acknowledgement. But what else? No, your father's been with you the whole time. He's acknowledged everything that you've done and your accomplishments, and like at times it's like you have like you when you're by yourself at times you go on your shit fits. You like yell out loud or scream or hit tables or out of frustration. You
I
know?
used to.
Yeah.
I
So
used
you're
to, because he wasn't. You know, he killed himself, and we never understood why.
yeah. So, I mean, that's a heavy duty topic right there, but I'm not going to put that on the air. But he saw you getting extremely mad and angry and like pouncing and screaming and he's apologizing for putting you through that. So,
that's cool.
and also there was like an appreciation for fishing and skipping rocks.
I don't remember doing anything like that with him.
No, but there's somebody else then. I feel like it's connected with a grandfather.
Could be. I mean, he did like to fish, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember.
Well, I'm just letting you know some of his fondest memories has to do with fishing and like throwing rocks across the water.
Cool.
And who is Rose? First name, middle name. What is it with the rose or roses? They had an appreciation for roses, or their name was Rose. Something with roses.
Mark, that's got to be you. That's not me.
No, I love roses, but that's besides the point. I don't know.
I feel like there was somebody. I'm getting like a Rosemary, or Roseanne. There's a connection somehow, some way. But gentlemen, I don't mean to sound rude, but I have another engagement that I have to go to.
No, we appreciate you coming on. We had a ton of questions for you. I think we got most of those answered, and we do appreciate that reading right there. We really do. It was fantastic. Will you please, before you go, will you please let everybody know what books they need to buy, where they can find them?
Oh yeah,
as well as your socials.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Angels and Answers. This is the book, Angels and Answers. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on artiehoffman.com. And here's my other book, Have Your Angels Call My Angels. So artiehoffman.com or amazon.com. And you could also get it in Kindle. Also, my show. If anybody wanted to do a private reading, if you call me at 1-900, and I'm only kidding. If you call me at 732-778-7173, or you could check me out, Artie Hoffman at Gmail, and check out my website, artiehoffman.com. Oh, and then Sunday nights, I do free readings for 1 hour, and that's
is that on Facebook?
That's on Facebook, my Facebook Live, Artie Hoffman's Angels and Answers, and
Perfect.
I read people for an hour and connect to their loved ones, answer psychic questions. But there's a lot of people who ask me questions, so I just hit it randomly. So
Perfect. TikTok. You have a TikTok. I saw that you have a TikTok. Are you just not utilizing it?
I'm not utilizing. I took it down for personal reasons. So.
Okay.
But my Instagram, I have Instagram, Artie Hoffman, besides my Facebook Live, Artie Hoffman. I post up inspirational messages every single morning. Sometimes it's a message, written message, and other times it's a video. And I do videos of inspirational messages. And they're short clips. I mean, they're only a few seconds long. But I get a positive message out to the public to start people's day.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Well, we once again, we really enjoyed having you here. If you have one of those personal messages or anything that you want our fans to see, you can put that out there. If not,
cool. Yeah, like I said, if you want to have an Artie party, or if you want me to come to your house, if you have a fundraiser, or you want a private session over the phone or in person, I'm in New Jersey, and over the phone, I'm just as accurate. You could email me again, artiehoffman@gmail.com, or call me at 732-778-7173. And guys, I want to thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you so
very much, Artie. Shalom.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, guys. You got a chance to see what a psychic is capable of. Mark, I'm pretty sure a lot of that stuff was directed to you.
I still don't know what it was.
Britt, the whole thing with Britt, that's crazy. Like, he nailed it.
Yeah, he nailed that one.
So now you need to figure out what the 17th is. Artie Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you can find him on Facebook Live. Just type in ARTIE HOFFMAN, or you can put in Artie Hoffman, Angels and Answers. Again, he's giving everyone his phone number, so feel free to give him a call. I'm sure he won't charge you a ton of money, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out how much.
Mark's going to figure it out, and we'll let you know that too, I guess.
Yeah.
So if anybody does want to get a reading from Artie, reach out to him. Tell him where you found him. Hey, I saw you on the Talking Shit show, and maybe he'll help you out with the money on that or something. I'm not sure. Holy cow! Wow, Mark.
We barely even had to talk.
I know that was a good listen. At I'm telling you, the very end of that, I'm telling you, was all directed towards you. You need to figure out what the 17th is. You need to figure out the whole tattoo thing. Who is Roseanne or Roxanne? Roseblood. It's Roseblood.
Yeah, we know what Roseblood is. It's a good slasher movie.
So before we get off here, Mark, there is a little event going on this website called the Deluxe Edition Network. I don't know if you've been over there or if you've heard of them.
The Denny's.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's right. So over on the Deluxe Edition Network, ladies and gentlemen, we need your help, and we could use it fairly quickly as time is running out. We want to continue to be a part of the network, but we don't just want to be a part of the network. We want to be your Denny's champion. So if you'll go over to the Denny's, pick the letter U when you scroll into it. That is the Talking Shit show, the Talking Shit podcast with Mark and Brian.
It just says Talking Shit.
There's a lot of other really cool podcasters and out there.
Yeah, they're great and all, but vote for us anyways.
But please vote for us. We want. Listen, there is a title belt on the line. Mark has yet to step foot into a wrestling ring. Don't worry, that's going to happen. We're going to figure all that out.
We might have to fly to San Diego.
But I definitely would like to have this nice championship belt on my wall somewhere in this general vasectomy. So if we can make that happen, that'd be great.
We just need to get Casey on here and have him talk, why he started the Denny's and stuff like that.
Hey, the invite is there, Casey. If you're
I just got to get with him, and he's been busy with work, dealing with.
Hey, listen, if Casey can't come on the show, we'll get Ray.
Yeah, that's true. We can
You
get
know, the
ready.
number one guy.
Oh shit.
Perfect. All right, guys. From us here at Talking Shit, I'm Brian.
I'm Mark. And we're out of here.
And we'll see you.